Hey, sailors. Welcome to the crew, and welcome back to Rule the Waves 3 as the United States. We are still at war with both Britain and France, still allied with Austria-Hungary and Japan, who are also both at war with Britain and France as a result. The overall situation is that we are just slightly outnumbered by Britain in battleships now, and we have a brief window of about a year before they get any substantial additional new battleships finished, whereas we're just about to finish our 4th Kentucky class, and at that point, we should have outright superiority in an engagement between our battle lines, albeit they have a huge advantage in battle cruisers. We do also have more cruisers and a heavier tonnage of destroyers than them, so overall, the military situation is a lot better than it was when the war started. I'm actually pretty much hoping for another fleet engagement on the East Coast, which we just might be able to use to finally lift the blockade for good and drive Britain out of here. Our Kentuckys are still working up, though, so maybe just give it another month or two and then a fleet engagement. Cruiser battle. Fleet sized. I'm declining because they have battle cruisers, and I don't. And so we would just die. Okay, the first Kentucky class, USS Kentucky, is worked up, and we've finished the Panama Canal while at war. Oh, quadruple turrets. Well, next generation of battleships, maybe. They're a little dicey, you know, but they improve eventually. They've moved their whole fleet down south. Time for another attempt to invade New Brunswick, then. That should force them to come back north and probably engage us in a fleet battle again. Meanwhile, destroyer-wise, we have these 900-ton destroyers, but I think we can build 1,100-ton destroyers now. So let me see here. Oh, we can build 1,400-ton destroyers now. Oh, really? Okay. So our existing best destroyers have 4 4-inch and 2 2-inch guns, 31 knots, 4 torpedo tubes. Now with a 1,400-ton destroyer, we could be talking a lot more than that. 33 knots, that's good. 6-inch guns? No. But can we use twin turrets on these yet? I don't think we can. Nope. Sadly. However, it might be possible to fit 4 5-inch guns on. Didn't I get triple tubes? I did get triple tubes. Okay, we're going to use triple torpedo tubes, probably 3 triple torpedo tubes. That about takes up all our weight, so maybe... we don't quite have enough weight for that. Although we could... Oh, but if I take out the mines, then we have enough weight for that. Okay. It's got a little less gunpowder than our existing destroyers. Is that the optimum place for... I think if I put another centerline turret, then I'll get overcrowded. No, I won't. Okay. What if I put yet one more? Now we get overcrowded centerline. Okay. Can't really up them to 5-inch guns, but maybe I could stick on... I could just about stick on a couple of 3-inch secondaries This will be actually less gunpowder than our existing 900-ton destroyers, but 3 triple torpedo tubes is a lot. And they're more valuable for that than they are for gunpowder anyway, so I'm going to go with it. I know they still have 2 mines, by the way. That's acceptable to me. I've found that the couple of mines that these have laid have actually not been the worst thing in the world, although I should probably just put them on cruisers instead, but I don't think I could have done anything else with the weight of those 2 mines anyway. Is this paused still? No, it's not. Oh, it's accelerated. I wonder why that is. Anyway, so under actual construction, we have 1 more Kentucky, which is about to be finished, plus 2 Saratoga-class battlecruisers. However, we're about to finish the Minnesota and Constellation-class design studies, at which point... Oh, great again. Oh, God. Wait, what? Am I supposed to believe this estimate of enemy forces? I don't think I can believe that estimate of enemy forces, but if it's... What? Okay. Sure. Recent improvements in productivity has boosted our industrial production, and they are having strikes and anti-war demonstrations. Our unrest is still only at 2, so that's not too bad. I think that'll be the other 2 Kentuckys that are done working up, so they're pretty much active now. Negotiated peace without border changes or reparations. Fight on. The Hawk Party is derailed. Peace negotiations. And we have depth charges. Ah, small seaplane carriers. And we're invading New Brunswick. And the Austrians have lost the armed merchant cruiser Gertie. Not Gertie. And the Japanese have managed to lose Murakumo, Yuzuki, and Yakaze for just HMS Druids. That's not ideal. But sank Hydra. Okay. I didn't really realize there were any Japanese or Austrian forces off of my coast, to be honest, but for just this moment, I'm going to lay down about 10 new destroyers, which still doesn't even actually take up our whole budget surplus. But that's alright, because we're about to finish several new battleship designs, and I want to lay them down ASAP. Okay, what is on our east coast right now? There's just a petty couple of... Where'd the British go? They went home. The British have retreated from North America at long last, and we're invading New Brunswick. I don't understand. Are they that terrified of my Kentucky class that they're just going to pull out completely finally? Wow. Maybe the Battle of St. John will be the decisive battle that ends this after all. I mean, I only have 3 out of the 4 Kentuckys in service, and it seems like it was enough to chase the British out of our coast entirely. And we pretty much dominate the Pacific still, so... Alright, well, let's just see what happens here. And convoy attack. Okay, looks like they've moved more stuff back in, but not their whole fleet. Just to, oh, they've declined. I was just going to say, just give me actual battleships instead of battle cruisers, but... Alright, Indiana's been commissioned, so that's all 4 Kentuckys. Japan is building... I don't know exactly how this compares to the actual Congo class, but I don't think it's that far off from the actual Congo class. 8 14-inch guns, 8.5-inch belt, 28 knots. Quite a nice modern battlecruiser Japan's building there. And the British have built the Supermarine Spitfire. It's a 1914-era float-plane scout. It makes 78 knots. Top-notch. Top-notch work, lads. Heavier than air naval aviation. And we've just conquered New Brunswick. September 1914, the United States has conquered New Brunswick. That means almost regardless of what happens from now on, this war is a win. I did have to rework this design a little, didn't I? Somehow I managed to have these be in casemates, and I should really just put them in twin turrets regardless of that. Plus... was there something else that I'm forgetting now? For some reason I feel like there was, but I can't see what it is anymore, so... we do have oil. I'm just going to stick with that. There might have been something else, but... quick little redesign, not too expensive. We have the money, to be frank. Wow, we have a lot of money. But I'm going to use it to lay down a bunch more ships as soon as these 2 design studies are finished. And, in the meantime... oh yeah, don't let me... lighter than air, I'm going to straight up put onto low, because I don't have any use for airships, really. However, heavier than air obviously has to be high priority. It's going to be essential to have carriers. I mean, battleships may be cooler, possibly. And for the next 20 years, just better as well. But we have to think about the long term here. Carriers are going to be useful eventually. And right now, we did just invent the seaplane carrier. So maybe we request a proposal for a float plane scout. First priority, range. Second priority, probably speed. And let's see what they come up with for that. And obviously, we're going to need something to operate that from. I think we'll build maybe a couple of cheap little seaplane carriers here. Let's see what they come up with. What the heck is this? Is it going to make me put guns on it? It does that early on. Oh, and okay, this is just a really bad design, I think, that all our designers come up with. And it gets a little broken about carriers sometimes. Okay, I'm going to try to take all these guns off, basically, or at least except for like 2 midships, maybe, and see if it will let me get away with that. First of all, will it let me get away with none? Yes. I can't install a flight deck yet, can I? No, or at least that'd be a light cruise, light carrier if it is, and I don't have those. Okay, how much air capacity? Ooh, well, it'd be pretty heavy to fit 8 aircraft in, huh? Well, it's for scouts, but I still want 8, I think, maybe. 6, okay. I mean, this is a very experimental thing. It won't be long-lasting in terms of usefulness. Don't question why those guns aren't on the ship at all. It's annoying. I don't really know how to put them onto the ship on the designer thing, so that's where they're staying. Honestly, 21 knots would be enough. I really just need her to keep up with our battleships for the moment. Keep her 22 just so she can run away from dreadnoughts, because I don't know what else to do with the displacement, really, unless I can... might as well give her oil, though. Okay. Oh. We can only have 5 planes maximum because we haven't invented large seaplane carriers. Okay. Well, that changes things a lot. In that case, give me 1,600 tons, 21 knots. 5 aircraft. Couple of petty guns for self-defense. I mean, she doesn't have a flight deck. I mean, this is a very... She just lowers these seaplanes into the water using... This is probably the crane here. Using a crane, and they launch themselves off of the water. They're seaplanes. Honestly, just take both of these turrets off and give her like one forward 5-inch gun or something. Why is it facing backwards? Oh, beautiful. I love it. It's not on the ship physically. That's fine. This design is fine. We're just going to build like 1 or 2 of those for experimental purposes, basically. I don't think they'll have any actual combat usefulness, but that's fine. Okay, we've worked up San Juan. We've stolen some more Japanese blueprints. Oh, man. Japan. What is this? Why is it a 2nd-generation dreadnought with 12 14-inch guns, and it still only has 2 centerline turrets? And they don't have direct or fire control either, apparently. Oh, Japan. Russian floatplane scout. Everybody's building floatplane scouts now. Shell quality control, more AP penetration. Enemy fleets dominate the seas around Guam. Japan has lost the destroyer Shirakumo. Fought the British some more. Yeah, I think... Okay, hold on. Yeah, these are both about to be finished. I'll build them both in a second when I take a look at the budget. I just wanted to see... Yeah, Britain still has... Oh, they've moved a big chunk into the Caribbean again, but, like... I don't... Well, if they invade stuff, we'll have to stop them, but... Having taken New Brunswick, I'm just going to move straight on to invading Nova Scotia. Right? Like... We can just annex the whole British-Canadian coast and pretty much eliminate their direct threat to the country completely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, without Nova Scotia, or New Brunswick is already almost a third of their total basing capacity here. They lose Nova Scotia, they'll really struggle to base a large fleet off our east coast anymore. Okay, and then construction. Our monthly balance isn't that high, but we have a lot of ships saved up, or a lot of funds saved up. I'm going to lay down immediately 2 Minnesota-class battleships. Oh, that's going to be a lot. Okay, I'm going to lay down 2 Minnesota-class battleships immediately. Anything else? I'm going to lay down the Constellations not too long, hopefully, but it's going to have to wait probably until these destroyers are done at least. Because the monthly cost of these things is a lot. Makes sense as they're almost 40,000 tons, but they're absolute monsters compared to anything anybody else is building currently. So, small engagement. We can ambush an enemy force. I hope it's large enough we can actually ambush one of those, that one battleship they have here. It looks like we got a pretty good number of ships. Oh, but it's all a, it's a light cruiser division and an armored cruiser division. I think that's 2 armored cruisers that are, it's 3 armored cruisers, Brooklyn, Louisville, and Rochester, which I think are all San Diego class. Yeah, and they're all just currently engaging in a quantum paradox or something. Yeah. They're occupying the same point in time and space. Don't worry about it. All right, what are we dealing with? If it's a battleship, we're probably going to have to run. But if it's not, if it's anything shy of a battleship or battlecruiser, we'll just wreck it. And I see... I don't know if it's actually 2 destroyers. It's 2 destroyers. So far, anyway. If that's all it is, this is going to be just hilarious. I I would almost hope it's more than that because it's basically a waste of time to sink 2 destroyers, but we'll see. If anything, it's more risk than it's worth because if they get some torpedoes off, we could get sunk. Okay, I'm going to turn to this angle just to dodge torpedoes with San Juan here. Okay, the Lizard is dead. We're launching torpedoes, which is probably a bad sign. Would you retarget the... Okay, we won. Wow, that was... Yeah. So it was literally just the destroyers HMS Lizard and HMS Larn, and they did launch torpedoes, but they didn't hit anything. And boy, howdy, did they have a bad time today. Poor guys. Okay, 2 British destroyers just annihilated. I guess the seas off of Nova Scotia have become a bit hostile to them. Hmm. Okay, the game's being a little weird. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. A performance of opera overtures by the ship's band of USS Delaware impresses a group of visiting dignitaries. Our prestige improves. Superimposed X-gun mounts on light cruisers, and we have invaded Nova Scotia, and unless they move something to defend it, as you saw with what happened to New Brunswick, when you have this much superiority, how much did these cost? Not very much. But they're also kind of useless. So I'm going to build 1 for just the purpose of being an experimental test bed. It's probably less expensive than a destroyer, so it's not exactly killing me. I don't think a seaplane carrier is one of the things you actually need to build in order to speed up the development of these other things, or in order for the development of these other things to progress. But I do know that carriers in general, at certain points, the technology is gated behind actually building a carrier, and it might in general be sped up by actually building and operating carriers of various sorts. Anyway, we might as well have, let's be a forward-thinking Navy. They're preparing to invade Cuba. Is this really the force they have? Oh my god, guys. Battle in sport of land combat. Oh, this might be a battlecruiser. They're just declining. They don't... All these battles being generated, and they, Oh, enemy France. And they decline. Wow. Widespread demonstrations and serious disturbances are reported in Great Britain. Oh, Congress has engine problems. But Indiana's worked up, so hopefully it's ready now. We have unit machinery, which... I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know what it does. Indecisive engagement. I don't feel like that's an option anywhere in... Oh, it is. Okay. It reduces damage from engine hits at the cost of weight and money. Fair enough. So that's what that does, in case anybody else was wondering. Oopsies. Didn't mean to hit that button. Okay, so nothing is anywhere near being finished. We're gonna have to pause things again. Probably I'll pause the Minnesotas. But all the construction is well underway. We have 8 dreadnoughts in actual service to Britain's 9. They will finish... In fact, they've already finished one ahead of schedule this year. Rodney, which has... I believe is the first battleship in the world with 15-inch guns here, HMS Rodney. But only a 10.5-inch belt's a little wimpy. She's still quite a potent battleship, do not get me wrong. But considering Britain has the national tendency for flash fires coded into the game, they should probably be a little more cautious about the potential of shots penetrating their armor. And you'll notice all their battleships pretty much consistently have 2 to as much as 3 inches less armor than some of mine. I mean, my Kentuckies have a 13-inch belt. The Minnesotas are going to have a 14-inch belt. They're going to decline this again, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I'm just racking up VP as they do that, so I'm happy to have it happen. Widespread demonstrations, serious disturbances. They're on the brink of, like, governmental collapse. They're in bad shape. Secondary director. Okay, directors for our secondary and light cruiser main batteries. Fantastic. Okay. If I forget to do that after the war, I'm not going to do it during the war because we can't afford to refit all our ships right now. But if I forget to do it after the war, somebody yell at me in the comments and I'll remember. Yeah, all they've got really deployed is their battle cruisers, which, to be fair, they're safer in that they can avoid battle with our battleships, but they also have a really unsupported force of dreadnoughts and pre-dreadnoughts, which we can definitely smash. And I would be very eager to fight in a fleet engagement, so I don't know what their current plan is, unless that's all they can. You know, that is quite close to the limit of what they can actually base here, with their bases in New Brunswick lost. But on the other hand, if they replaced all those pre-dreadnoughts with dreadnoughts, which aren't that much more expensive to maintain, then they would have a much stronger force here. So I don't know. They're going to decline again, yeah. And they're going to decline. Oh, wait. Oh, they agreed. Okay. Fleet battle over Nova Scotia then. Thanks for watching, sailors. I hope you enjoyed the video. New parts should be up daily, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.